If you find yourself alone on Thanksgiving, or if you find yourself with just one other loved one, this recipe is perfect for people just like you. We're gonna be smoking some Cornish Game Hens. Cornish Game Hens are everything you love about a chicken or a turkey, except it's intensified, like times 100. Now, whether you're using a pellet smoker like this Halo Prime 1500, or you're using your oven, I'm gonna give you directions on both. So let's get going on those. And oh yes, we're also making a very special potato dish. And yes, there will be gravy. I'm gonna spatchcock one, and then I'm gonna leave one whole. So once you go ahead and take them out of their package, go ahead and dry them off inside and out with a paper towel. So spatchcocking is real simple. You're just gonna cut out the backbone, flip it over, and give it a little elbow drop just to flatten it all out. That's pretty much all there is to it. You're gonna angle the legs inward, then you're ready to season and get ready to go. But we're going to be marinating the one that we spatchcock, and we're gonna use a dry rub by Cosmos Q for our hen that we're going to leave whole. Pick off all the leaves of the thyme, the sage, and the rosemary. Go ahead and slice a lemon into quarters, because we're gonna use that in a couple different ways. Dice up your herbs, but don't over chop your herbs. You don't want all of those delicious and aromatic oils inside those herbs to leak out onto your cutting surface. So don't over chop, but definitely chop them up fine. And for your garlic, you're gonna use a microplane and grate the garlic. If you don't have a microplane, you can just use a box grater or anything you have that does a fine grate, and just grate them real fine, almost to a paste. Add all that into a bowl, and then you're gonna add a 1/4 cup of honey. I'm using a honey that is made right down the street from me. A lady has her own bees and her own chickens, so I buy fresh pasture-raised eggs and local honey. And you're gonna add a 1/4 cup of olive oil. And then you're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger to really brighten that marinade up, and then a 1/2 teaspoon of smoked paprika. Just in case you're not using a smoker, that's gonna help add a little bit of a smoky grilled kind of flavor to your little bird. And now squeeze the juice out of 1/2 of a lemon into that marinade. You're gonna whisk that up, and then you're gonna add it into a gallon Ziploc bag and just toss your little game hen right in there and massage that all through so that all that marinade gets all over your little bird. And then you're gonna refrigerate that for 24, 48 hours even if you really want to. Now for the whole bird, we're gonna kind of use those same flavors, but we're gonna take our whole sage and rosemary and thyme and use some butcher's twine and just wrap them up like a little bouquet and stuff that into the cavity of your game hen. And now take one of those 1/4 slices of lemon and stick that into the cavity of your game hen as well. Now for this one, we're gonna brush our bird with a little bit of oil. Our seasoning is called Hot Dirty Bird, and that's from Cosmos Q, and adds a little bit of spice, but it's still those real kind of smoky and aromatic flavors that you come to expect with a roasted turkey. Get that seasoning all over the place. You're gonna throw that onto a pellet smoker or your smoker at 275 degrees. I'm using apple and mesquite pellets just to combine, again, more of those flavors of Thanksgiving. But if you're using your oven, go ahead and use your oven at 375 degrees, and they are going to cook up much faster than a normal turkey or chicken because of their size, especially the spatchcock one. Keep an eye on that one. That's gonna cook very quickly, possibly within 20 to 30 minutes at 375 degrees. The whole bird may take about an hour, but you wanna cook them both until the breasts are 165 degrees internal. Now that special side dish that I was talking about, Hassleback potatoes. You ever heard of these? It's not a baked potato. It's not a twice baked potato. It kind of combines the beautiness of all of those things. If you have a pair of chopsticks, go ahead and get those out. Or if you don't have chopstick and you have a couple wooden spoons, we're gonna use those. So you wanna take your potato after you've washed and dried it, and you wanna lay it in between your chopsticks or in between the handles of your wooden spoons. Hopefully your wooden spoons have the same thickness of handle. Now what you're gonna do, you're gonna make super thin slices all across your potato until your knife hits your chopstick or your wooden spoons. After you've got your thin slices, do your best to gently pull them apart a little bit, and you wanna take a silicone brush or some kind of brush, and you wanna hit it with a little bit of oil. You can use your judgment on oil. We're cooking at 275 degrees, so olive oil is gonna be just fine. Then you want to season very liberally with salt and pepper, doing your best to get as much of that oil and seasoning in each slice. Now while the birds are cooking and the Hassleback potatoes cooking, in about 45 minutes after you put the potato on, you'll notice that those slices are starting to fall down. And now what you wanna do is you wanna put into a pan, sorry, that noise is the pellet hopper vibrating the pellets down into the auger so that they keep it smoking, right? Now what you wanna do is you wanna take 1/2 stick of butter, or a stick depending on how buttery you want things to be. You wanna take that stick of butter, melt it with some fresh thyme and some fresh sage, again with some chopped up garlic. Now we're gonna have our garlic, thyme, and sage butter, and we're going to brush that onto the potato, and then we're also gonna take the leftover remaining and we're gonna drop it onto our 2 little birds and brush those on with a separate brush, of course. That way we're getting that flavor of Thanksgiving on everything we're cooking. And now at this point, I suggest you crank up your, if you're using a pellet smoker, I suggest you crank it up another 25 degrees to 300, and that's gonna cook our chicken chickens a little faster. It's also going to crisp up the skins, and it's also going to cook our potato a little faster. After we've got it up to 300, you want to give that another 25 to 30 minutes on your potato. Again, your chickens may be done at this point, so keep an eye on those and take them into rest if they are. So you want to give that potato another 25 to 30 minutes. When that potato starts to become soft, you want to have some cheddar, some grated cheddar on hand, or your favorite kind of cheese. I used bacon also, and I'm just going to top it with the cheese and bacon right on the grill and let that melt in for my potato. And like I mentioned before, in keeping with those Thanksgiving flavors, we're going to douse everything in a lovely, lovely gravy. You're gonna take 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of flour. I'm using the keto flour, for if you wanna use that, feel free. And you want 2 cups of chicken stock or turkey stock. I prefer the unsalted so that I can season my gravy to my liking. Melt your butter in a big skillet. Slowly whisk in your 2 tablespoons of flour till it's fully incorporated. And once it is, season with a little bit of salt, maybe a little bit of pepper, use your discretion. Let that cook for another 30 to 60 seconds until it starts to smell a little bit nutty. Now you've just created a roux, and this is the base of our gravy. Now we're gonna slowly pour in our stock while we whisk at the same time, and you're gonna notice it really start to bubble up and become thick. If it becomes a little too thin, no big deal. Let that reduce until it thickens up to your liking of consistency for your gravy. And once it is, go ahead and hit that with a little salt and pepper to your liking and taste it. Make sure you taste it. This is important. Once your gravy is done, your chicken's rested, slice your little game birds up. I love the little legs. They're fantastic. They're so juicy and tender. And then I just douse everything in gravy. I mean, you can't go wrong. This is Thanksgiving. Just douse it in gravy. What you'll notice with this Hassleback potato is the flavor of that butter, thyme, rosemary, sage, and garlic butter with the smoke of the grill is absolutely incredible and is a total game changer for Hassleback potatoes. I absolutely recommend you give that a try. If you don't want to add gravy to your potato, feel free to add sour cream or chives or anything you like. That's the beauty of this. This is your Thanksgiving. You do you, you make it your own. Now you may be asking yourself, Birger, where's the stuffing? That's coming in the next video. I'll link that in the description as soon as that's up, and you'll get a notification, so make sure you subscribe for that. So I wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving. Until next time, I appreciate you. Thanks for watching.